go over the assessment options within the assignment activity in GauchoSpace. These include the default simple direct grading, grading using a rubric, and grading using a grading guide. First, I'll make an example assignment to show how to select each of these options. With editing turned on, I'll select Add an Activity or Resource. I'll click on Assignment, then click on Add. I'll first give the assignment a name. I'll then scroll down to the grade settings for the assignment. Click on the drop-down menu for grading method. Here you'll have the option for simple direct grading, which is the default, as well as the options for grading guide and rubric. If either grading guide or rubric is selected, you will then want to click on Save and Display at the bottom of the page when you have set the other relevant settings for the assignment. For this example, I'll click on Grading Guide and then click on Save and Display. I'm now in the Advanced Grading page. This can also be found in the administration block for the assignment under Advanced Grading, Define Grading Guide. To create a grading guide from scratch, I'll click on the link for Define New Grading Guide from Scratch. Here we see the initial page for creating our grading guide. Grading guides will be made using the criteria. Here we have the first criteria. You can give it a name such as Introduction. You can then give descriptions for students who are submitting the assignment, as well as a description for graders who will be grading the assignment. You'll also give the criteria a maximum score. Each grading guide has a maximum point total that can be defined. Graders can then choose a point value within that maximum point total for each criteria. Here we see a fully built grading guide example. We see there's a thesis, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3, and conclusion criteria with different point values that can be given a point total for each. If we go back to the advanced grading page, I can then change the grading method to rubric. I'll click on the option to create from scratch again. Here we see the criteria layout for a rubric. Each criteria requires specific point values to be created. I'll need to define what each point value I want to be used for grading purposes. This one, I'll make it Introduction. I could do this point by point or create larger point values such as 5, 10, and 15. Then need to explain what each point value level, give a description for each point value level. Here we have a fully built out rubric with different point values for each criteria. We also see at the end there's an option for instructors or graders to give feedback. I'll now go back to the advanced grading page. If you have a grading guide or rubric that is already in use on your course site and you'd like to use it again, you can click on the option for Create a New Grading Form from a template. Then click on the box for Include My Forms and click on Search. You'll then see all the grading guides or rubrics used in your course site with the option to Use as a template. If you have a rubric or grading guide that you've used in another course that you'd like to use, you can import that assignment into your course site, and then you'll be able to use that rubric or grading guide from this page. Now let's look at some examples of assignments with these different grading methods in use. I'll go back to the assignments page. First, we'll look at an example using the simple direct grading method, the default option for assignments. Once in the assignment, I'll click on Grade. First, we see Ann Gaucho's graded submission. We can see that comments have been added, as well as some stamps. These are all annotations made using the PDF annotation bar here. On the right-hand side, we can see the grade that Ann has been given for the assignment, as well as a written feedback here, usually used as summative feedback for the assignment. We can click on the arrow at the top right to view the next submission. Here we see Joe Gaucho's submission. There's no annotations yet or grade given. To view all the submissions for the assignment, I can click on the link for View All Submissions in the top left-hand corner. Or I can click on the assignment link here, and then click on View All Submissions. Here I can see all the submissions and the options to grade each submission. This grade button will take me back to the PDF editor page that we were just at. From this page, I can also click on the Grading Action drop-down menu, and I can click on the option for Snappy Download All Submissions. This will download all the student submissions in a nested folder structure, with each student having their own folder and submission enclosed. You can then open those submissions in a PDF editor or Microsoft Word if they're Word files, annotate them, and then zip that folder up, and then upload the file using Upload Multiple Feedback Files in a zip. This will allocate those file submissions back to each student so that they can then see their annotated submission. Now I'll go back to the course page to view the other assignment grading examples. Next, we'll look at the grading guide example here. Click on Grade. I'm now back in the PDF grading interface with the same annotation tools at the top. However, now on the right side, I have the grading guide option here. For each criteria, I can give written feedback, as well as allocate how many points for each criteria I'd like to give for the student submission. If I'd like, I can expand and see the full grading guide here, or I can click on this window pane to expand it this way. I'll now go back to the course page to view the rubric example. I'll click on the rubric assignment, and then I'll click on grade. Again, we see the PDF grading interface with the annotation tools. This time on the right-hand side, we see the rubric. If you have a large rubric, not all the cells will be visible. You can scroll down to the bottom and move to see all the cells. You can select which cell grade option you'd like to give the student submission, as well as provide written feedback for each criteria. You can also click on the arrow icon here to expand the rubric. And then you can also click on the pane icon here, which will expand that pane so you can see all of the rubric options. This concludes our video on assignment grading options. If you have any questions, please email us at help@collaborate.ucsb.edu.